Hello everyone, I am Vinoda, working as Solution Architect in GT Technologies Private Limited. Today we are going to see the topic Control External Sharing for SharePoint Online Sites using sensitivity labels. Yes, now you can control external sharing of files and folders in a SharePoint site using sensitivity labels. Let's see this in detail. SharePoint Online supports organization level settings and site level settings for external sharing. Organizational level settings is a tenant-wide external sharing setting which applies to all the SharePoint sites in a tenant. You can see the organization-wide settings in SharePoint Admin Center, and next you have site level settings. In SharePoint Admin Center under the Active Sites section, you can set external sharing setting for an individual site. These site level settings are dependent on your organizational level settings. Now the new update sensitivity label to control external sharing in a SharePoint site files and folders is similar to site level settings. Now the external sharing setting is included in sensitivity labels. By default, these settings are disabled in existing sensitivity labels. If you want to control external sharing through sensitivity label, you can either include external sharing setting in your existing sensitivity label by editing the label, or you can create new label with external sharing setting for a SharePoint sites and publish the label. This is the new external sharing setting updated in sensitivity label. You can apply the sensitivity label to a site with these settings. Let's see this in action. Now I am in Compliance Center. Go to Information Production section. Now I am going to edit existing label to include external sharing setting. This is the external sharing setting for a SharePoint site. By default, sensitivity label do not include external sharing setting for a SharePoint site. If you include the settings, it will list all the options as same as site level settings. You can share the content only to people in the organization, which restricts external sharing, or you can share the content to existing guests, or you can share the content to new and existing guests with sign-in and verification code, or you can share the content to anyone in your organization and outside the organization, and it don't require the sign-in. When this label is applied to a SharePoint site, these settings will replace existing external sharing settings configured for the site, that is the site level settings. If you are editing existing sensitivity label to add external sharing settings, then the changes will reflect in 24 hours. If you are creating new label with external sharing setting, it will reflect in 15 minutes. I have already created label called external sharing, and I have applied policy which allows sharing within the organization and it restricts the external sharing. Here you can notice in the site settings, here it allows the only people in your organization and it restricts the external sharing. I have applied this external sharing label to the market project in SharePoint site. You can notice that the applied label is displayed here. If I am trying to share a document with the external user, this is the external user. Yes, it does not allow to share a document. It displays that your organization policies don't allow you to share with these users. Note that the external sharing setting applied to a site cannot be less restrictive than the organization-wide settings. In global settings, here I have disabled anyone sharing. But in one of my label, I have applied less restrictive setting, anyone sharing. You can notice here I have a less restrictive setting, anyone sharing. Global settings have the high priority. I have applied this label with anyone sharing setting to a site called sample site. When I am trying to share a document, Here you can notice that anyone sharing link is disabled because of global settings, even though your sensitivity label has anyone sharing settings enabled. So organization-wide global settings have higher priority than sensitivity label external sharing setting. So this way you can control external sharing of files and folders by applying sensitivity label to a site. Thank you so much for watching.